Hello everyone, my name is Jeff Hoagland and welcome back to another Draft Today video. Hopefully today's draft is going to start off, it's going to go a lot better than yesterday's draft. We have a fantastic start here. We have Typhoon Skyshaper as our rare in this pack. This is a total bomb in this format. It's a 4/5 for 6, but it has Mobilize and Flight. And it says, when you deploy this, you can put an exhausted troop you control back into your hands. This can save something we control from removal, and it's also just a 4/5 evasive body. Very powerful, blocks well, surprises things in combat since it's quick. This pack's actually pretty stacked with Sapphire cards. I'm definitely taking the Typhoon Skyshaper because it's super powerful, but it is slightly worrying that we're passing a Cloudbounder and a Shackling Strand. Both of these cards are good enough for someone else to move into Sapphire because they see them, so... hopefully we don't end up getting cut too hard in pack 2 by passing those two cards. As I say that, and we get our next pack here, out of the uncommons in this pack, Pyre Strike's really quality removal, but I don't think I want to move into a second shard for that. We have a Cloudbounder, a Skittering Cultivator, and a Cerulean Sage in this pack. Again, I'm going to get a powerful Sapphire card as my second pick here, but I'm setting myself up to get cut on this shard in the second pack, so hopefully... we'll be able to move into our second shard with pack 2. We're going to need things like Cerulean Sage and Skittering Cultivator to enable these mobilized troops at some point, but I definitely would rather prioritize taking the powerful top end bombs as opposed to random 1 and 2 drops right now, even if they are reasonable 1 and 2 drops. And we can always fill out our bottom part of our deck in the late game with other things. Up next. And then in this pack, we get a Skittering Cultivator here. So again, just 3 quality Sapphire picks, 1, 2, 3, and this is the perfect card to help enable our mobilized troops here. We're looking for a little bit of everything at this point. Still not cemented into anything. Nothing else in this pack that really makes you want to move into a second threshold. Cheap Shot and Enlarge are playable. Blood's Favor and Arcane Soil are reasonable card draw, but 10 out of 10 taking the Skittering Cultivator here. It's another powerful Sapphire card to add to the 2 that we already have, and it helps enable the mobilized troops that we have going on already. Perfect. And then we're not getting cut on Sapphire in this pack, it doesn't seem like. We've got a Cerulean Sage in this pack, so these are the 2 cards we passed when we picked up this Cloudbounder that we said we'd like to pick up, and then we ended up getting both of them. As far as other cards that are reasonable in this pack, Reversion's a playable card, Ashwood Minstrel is fine, Rose Kitten's great if you could pick up a bunch of them, but we're 10 out of 10 grabbing this Cerulean Sage here. Card is very, very powerful. Diligence gets +2 power and flight until the start of our next turn, so you can play this on 1, and then you can use your mobilized troop to enable it, or just attack with it on 2 if they don't have a 3 power guy, and then it just starts attacking for 2 in the air, which is amazing. What a match made in heaven. 2 Diligence troops, 2 mobilized troops as our first 4 picks. Mobilize and Diligence and Mobilize forever and ever. And then we get a Web Scribe here. This is a 1/3 for 2 that says whenever you gain a charge, target opposing troop gets -2 power until the start of your next turn. So this really helps us win races. Not only is it a 1/3 that blocks well, but usually this is effectively locking down 2 troops in the early game. Like it's blocking 1 troop and then it's taking power off of another. Again, it's another early piece of board clogging that also helps enable our mobilized troops. We usually want somewhere between like 5 and 8 1 and 2 drops, and we're well on track here. We've already got 3 in our first 5 picks that are very reasonable. If you look at our next pack here, there's nothing exciting in Sapphire. The Vile Strain Convoy, I don't think I've ever played this card. It's just expensive and clunky. There's nothing in this pack that's really compelling to move into a second threshold. Razor Edge Duelist is a fine diamond card, and it plays well with both of our mobilized troops that we have so far. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pick this up, but like I'm not super excited about it, and this is by no means a sign that we're going to end up playing diamond. If we do end up at diamond, good chance that we play the Razor Edge Duelist, but if we move into diamond, it's probably going to be because of like a Phoenix Guard Lancer or some other bomb. Again, no very good Sapphire cards. Conceal is like medium minus at best. I don't really like it in the flying decks. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Vanquish, just like start cementing ourselves into diamond. These are two like kind of average diamond cards. They're both playable if you're in the threshold, but like they're not a compelling reason to stay in diamond. So again, if we see like, say, an Underworld Officer in our second pack, we'll probably be moving into blood as opposed to playing these two mediocre diamond cards. Okay, and we are continuing to not see any good Sapphire cards in these packs. That makes sense. These are the first couple of packs from the people we passed to, so they're likely in Sapphire because of the cards we sent their way. We'll get our first pack back here in a second. Gallant Spearcliff is a plenty playable diamond card, just like a 2/4 with flight for 4 that makes a Valor when it comes out, so it's basically a 3/5/5 that you could spend over the cost of 2 turns. See if there's any of those good Sapphire cards left in our first pack here. I bet there aren't. We had a Cloudbounder and Shackling Strands in there. Yep, they're both gone. So we're definitely going to be fighting with people for playable Sapphire cards in the second pack. That being said, like we've got a good base of 5 Sapphire cards here. So even if we get cut a little bit in the second pack, hopefully we can get paid off in the third pack. Kind of into diamond at this point, but still kind of waffly. Like Royal Halberd is not a card that I'm too excited to play a lot of the time. Mobilize Steadfast 3/3 for 4. The format just has a lot of X4s in it, so it often can't be attacking very profitably on the ground. Blindside's a playable combat trick, so we're getting closer and closer to having enough playable diamond cards. That's solidly our second threshold. That being said, like I feel like I'm still not opposed to like moving into blood or something if we open a bomb. Staunch Resolve and Adamantine Cavalry are both kind of mediocre cards. I guess I'll take the Cavalry, but I don't think I've ever ended up playing this in a deck that I ended up with enough playables in. Ashwood Minstrel is a playable Ruby card. If we end up seeing that that is open, we can move in and start, probably end up playing that. Nothing super exciting here. I guess I'll pick up this Arena Regular because, again, it's the best Ruby card in the pack. Also, the fact that an Arena Regular, what was that? That was 13th pick. The fact there's an Arena Regular still in that pack is probably a sign that we should be considering moving into Ruby. We'll see how things end up going in this next pack, but like if Feed the Flame start coming around, we might end up picking those up and pivoting from Sapphire Diamond to Sapphire Ruby. And a Rock Slider. Okay, Well, we've got 1, 2, 3 Ardent Troops already. This would be 4, 5, and then Rock Slider. Alright, well, the Chargers archetype is definitely open at this point. Maybe we're going to try and pivot into Ruby Sapphire because those are really powerful cards. Like, there's definitely a number of decks where, like, I'm hoping to get Rock Sliders and Arena Regulars. What does this look like if I swap this around a little bit? And then we get a Righteous Outlaw in this pack. Holy crap. This is a total bomb rare, 2-1 for 2, speed, diligence. It either makes a Valor or turns into the Scarlet Swordsman for us, which can shoot down an opposing troop. It's a very powerful card. 10 out of 10, going to go ahead and pick up the Swordsman, the Outlaw. Glad we snagged the regular and then saw the Rock Slider. With regular and Rock Slider going as late as they did, I won't be surprised this Flame Guard wheels back around to us, but this Furious Blitzer would also be a card that we're usually okay with playing in a deck like this. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this Righteous Outlaw and let the Ruby cards flow, you know? To me, to me. Off this Ashwood Minstrel on 2, we can even turn 3 Typhoon Skyshaper in this deck. Sign me up. And the fact that this went 13th pick and this went like 15th pick should mean we're getting all the Rock Sliders and Arena Regulars in this pack too, which would be excellent. We have a Pool of Wrath here at the start of your turn. Conscript Underworld Troop with cost 2. Created card gets speed, and at the end of your turn, sacrifice this. This can create some total bombs. That being said, it's kind of slow and clunky, and the deck that we're building here is kind of gearing up to Slants to be more aggressive. So I think I'm going to go ahead and grab this Ashwood Minstrel. It's another more aggressive card that enables our top end and helps with Mobilize and stuff like that. It could be that the Gallant Duelist is the pick I want here. I guess I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've already got 6 2-drops. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Gallant Duelist here. This card's like, I'm not super excited to play it a lot of the time, but it's fine. And then we get another Arena Regular here, which at this point I'm going to grab these. Just like, we could risk them going late because we got this other one, 13th pick, but this is just like such a powerful card in the Charges Payoff deck, just because like it's Ardent, so it enables Marzul's chargeability itself when you play it. Even if we only end up on like a small Sapphire Splash with like the Web Scribe, we might not want to play the Skittering Cultivator in this deck, but the Web Scribe, even though it's Underworld, is probably worth playing because it has an effect when we gain a charge, so this card's really good at making sure the other aggro decks can't race us. Cosmic Calling's probably not a card that's worth splashing. It's kind of powerful, and if we were in Sapphire Diamond, we'd 10 out of 10 pick this up, but I don't think that's worth splashing in. There's a Trueheart Skirmisher, which is just like an okay card. It's mobilized, so it can cost 1, and then when it deploys, you draw a card that you have to play that turn. Also a Vigilant Duskwing here, though. I think Duskwing's the most powerful card in the pack, and I'm going to go ahead and pick it up even though it's not Ardent, because this is just like a top-end game-winning card all on its own. But hopefully the Trueheart Skirmisher wheels back around to us. Since this Rock Slider and the Arena Regular went late, I'm hoping no one else is in Ruby. We don't have any removal in our deck so far, sans like this Righteous Outlaw being pseudo-removal, so hopefully some Feed the Flames of Pyre Strikes come around. If not, we still have pack 3 to find like some Blazing Hammers and things like that. We did pass a Pyre Strike in the very first pack of the draft, so someone picked that up, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're heavy in Ruby. Iotachi Cavalry is very powerful. Ardent card, 2/2 for 2 that says as long as this is Valorous, it can't be blocked by non-Valorous troops. I would like this Blitz to come back around to us, but I think I'd rather prioritize taking the Cavalry here, where we already have 1 Valor card here in Gallant Duelist, and we're likely to get 1 to 2. Oh, we got another Valor card in Righteous Outlaw too, and we're likely to see a Valor Producer 2 in the 3rd pack. This is the type of card that it comes down in the early game, and then in the mid to late game it becomes pseudo-unblockable, and then pushes through those final points of damage. Still kind of light on removal, and Explosive Interlude generates a Valor for us as well, so that's kind of everything we're looking to be picking up at this point. Worth noting there's still a Storm Rider in this pack, so Diamond might be kind of open, but we are definitely playing the Ruby card at this point. We've got 3 Charges, Batters, Payoffs. There were 13 cards in that pack, so that next pack's going to have 12 in it, which means we have 12, 11, 10, 3 more packs that we haven't seen yet, so hopefully we see another Arena Regular and or Rock Slider in these next 3 packs. Feed the Flames would also be nice. I think I'd take a payoff card like Rock Slider or Regular over Feed the Flames at this point, but it'd be pretty close. Alright, and we get Feed the Flames here, which is exactly what we're looking for. Another explosive interlude is kind of expensive. We wouldn't mind if the Furious Blitzer wheels to us, but 10 out of 10 want the Feed the Flames more than another piece of top-end bomb. Sweet, and we're well set up now. We have like 2 pieces of removal already out of these first 2 packs, which means if we get like 2 to 3 in the last pack, there's a lot of Ruby removal in set 5, so usually you can get a couple pieces in the last pack if you're not fighting with too many other people. Nothing super exciting in this pack. Definitely nothing we're gonna play. What's the most playable card here? It's this pack's actually pretty bad at this point. It's probably between like Zenthal's Hunger or Weeping Banshee. They're both like, I think this is playable in a wider range of decks, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up, but none of the cards in here are particularly exciting. It might even be that the Arachnoglider is the most playable card. And hey, the Furious Blitzer came back around to us out of our first pack here, so 10 out of 10, gonna go ahead and pick that up. It gives us our 16th playable card here, so we're like well on track to hitting like this deck's got a little bit more top end than my Rock Slider Arena regular decks usually have, so this is probably an 18 resource deck, but I mean you only need like 6 more playables. We didn't end up getting any Rock Sliders, and we only got 1 Arena regular out of that pack. I think we're still probably gonna play Marzul. It's pretty reasonable with the Web Scribe and other things that we have. Ashwood Minstrel came back around. We'll 10 out of 10 go ahead and pick him up. It's a card that helps propel us into our top end sooner, and it is a 1/3, so it blocks while on the ground, on top of enabling Marzul because it's Ardent. Nothing super exciting in here. I guess I'll take the Blind Side because it's the most playable card. What you think, Declan?
Bye.
Nothing exciting in here. The Galleon Sentinel or the Cavalry are probably the most playable. I've probably registered Sentinel way more than Cavalry, so that's going to be the pick here. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Dad's got 1 more pack, and then we're going to go play, okay? Up. Alright, nothing super exciting in here. Wakuna Lookout and Apprentice Earthcaller are probably the most playable cards. Not playing either of them, obviously, so it's like that. Like I said, already at like 17-ish playables, so well on track to having a reasonable deck here. Hopefully we get paid off for being in Ruby in pack 3 here. An explosive interlude came back around. Okay, we may or may not play that. That's a little... Our top end's getting a little bit much here at this point, but we do have 2 Ashwood Minstrels, which help smooth it out a little bit. Need some 3s and 4s in our curve, but having a glut of 2s is not necessarily a bad thing. We open our set 3 pack here. We got a couple of cards that kind of jump out at us. We didn't open any of the good Ruby removal that we're looking for, like Lava Shaper. Always, never not a Lava Shaper, folks. We have Iotachi Brute here, which is kind of a very reasonable card. It's a 4/3 for 4 that says on Assault, a troop, when this attacks, it gets -1 cost if it's in your hand. And so basically, with the number of 1s and 2s that we have, this is going to be a 3-cost 4/3, which is pretty reasonable. That being said, there's a Daring Freebooter here, which is a 2/2 for 2 that says Stun Target Opposing Troop. This card is excellent in these aggressive shells. It's really good. It takes a blocker out of the way and allows you to apply pressure, which then requires your opponent to hold more cards back. So it's a kind of card that has an effect that lets you like snowball an advantage as you get further and further ahead. You look at our next pack here. There's a Fireball in this pack. I don't know if this Fireball is going to be particularly playable in our deck. Triple Ruby is a little bit ambitious. I think I'm going to let that one go, even though we kind of want more removal. Ashwood Transmuter fits into our Curveball. We said we are looking for more 3s and 4s. And this card's very powerful. Discard a card, create a random Ruby common, and put it into your hand. So basically this is something that allows us to play more resources in a deck like this and not get punished by flooding out in the mid to late game, because it could turn a resource into a piece of action. Would you like a Fig Newton, child? Next time, ask for help. There's a Newton. Dad's got you. Dad's got the hookup. In this next pack, we got another freebooter here. Yep, we are just going to be booting them on up. Worth noting that the Ardent Allegiance can trigger while the other Ardent Troop is in your hand. It doesn't have to be in play, so that means you can play this on the second turn of the game and stun one of their plays, which is nice. Still not getting paid off in any sort of Ruby removal, which is a little unfortunate. I think we're probably in the market to play the Sapper's Ballbuster. It's like a 5-cost, deal 3 to a champion or troop. It's good in the mid to late game. The fact that it is reach in our aggressive deck is pretty good as well. I think I'm going to hide the Skittering Cultivator for now. Its effect is like okay in an aggressive deck, but we don't have a payoff for the Dreadlings. We don't really have a ton of assault cards, and it's Underworld, so it's not going to trigger Marzel when it comes into play. There's a Blazing Hammer, which is the Ruby removal that we're looking for. There's also an Ashwood Transmuter in this pack, but I think I 10 out of 10 need to prioritize taking the Blazing Hammer here. This is just a super powerful effect. That's everything we're looking for. If no one else is in Ruby, this Ashwood Transmuter is going to wheel back around to us. We're going to be super happy about it, but odds are someone else is in Ruby and they're going to pick that up. We're already at like 22 playables here, so anything we start getting at this point is going to need to have cuts. The first on the chopping block is probably the next Explosive Interlude in case we get a more efficient piece of removal or maybe another quality 3-drop threat. This next pack doesn't have anything too exciting in it. I'm not really interested in playing Change Course in an aggressive deck. Patrol Bot is medium minus at best. I'm going to go ahead and grab this Crackling Blast here. Deal 1 damage to target opposing champion or troop with each opposing champion. Each opposing troop without flight. And then you gain a charge. This is like, okay, it makes Arena Regular and Rock Slider get bigger. I don't think I'm in the market to main deck that, but we'll see. Nothing exciting in here. I guess I'll take a Dread Demise. If someone's in the Blood Wild deck, it's one of the more powerful ones, that's for sure. We have one more pack that we haven't seen yet here. One last chance at a Lava Shaper that someone else almost certainly picked up because they're in Ruby. Ended up with like an okay amount of removal, right? We've got we got a Wall Buster, a Feed the Flames, a Blazing Hammer, and then 1 to 2 Explosive Interludes here at our top end. Hopefully going to trim one of these Explosive Interludes for another 3 or 4 here. And remember, these say 6 on them, but they both have Mobilize, and this has Mobilize too. So like if we hide this Explosive Interlude, we really only have 2 cards that cost more than 4, which isn't too terrible. Ideally, I'd like 2 more playables out of this pack so we can play 2 more 2 to 4 cost playables. This pack has an Ashwood Transmuter in it. Perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. I guess with double Transmuter, if we get really lucky and that third Transmuter wheels back around to us in that pack we took the Blazing Hammer out of, we will definitely just play 18 resources in this deck since we have 3 Transmuters to kind of pass off. That being said, if we don't get that, with these Ashwood Minstrels, I could probably just afford to play 17 reasonably. It might even be that if we see enough playables like this Vigilant Duskwing, it's just not worth cramming in at the top end, just like have a single 5. The Iotachi Brute came back around. Super excited to grab that card back up. Like I said, we've got plenty of 1s and 2s, so this card is often just going to be a 3 cost for us, which is fantastic. I am a Fig Newton dealer. Dad's got the hookup. Nothing exciting in here. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't end up on any more playables out of this pack, but that's fine. So we want one more of these cards out of our pack. Maybe we could start the Crackling Magma. Yes, I don't hate that. I usually get some people, and like we've got 3 charges payoff cards. Crackling Magma with Rock Slider inside of combat is pretty powerful. Razor Edge is probably a playable combat trick. Gives a troop +1 and Swift Strike. And it only costs 1. I didn't get any blitzes in this deck, so I guess I'm happy to play one of those. Can often bias a little bit of tempo with a block, and then a one cost trick gives it +1 power and Swift Strike. Seems fine. If the other Ashwood Transmuter comes back around, I'll probably swap this out for that, but for now I think this seems pretty reasonable. We pulled our curve down a little bit. We're primarily Ruby, which is funny after we started off with like 5 strong Sapphire cards, right? And we ended up playing 4 of those 5 strong Sapphire cards, so you know, not a total waste. And then we just, you know, we were in, again, you know, just reading the signals of what's going on in the draft. We were in Ruby Diamond, or Sapphire Diamond, sorry, for the first pack, and then the Ruby cards just started flowing like they seem to do lately. So hopefully this draft will be as successful as the last. Holy crap, that is a 13th pick Ashwood Transmuter. Yep. Okay. I did not choose the Ruby life. The Ruby life was thrust upon me. Just like, things like that remind me that, no, I'm not actually forcing these archetypes. It's actually just that, just wide open. The doors are there. The doors are there, and I'm just walking through the door, folks. Just walking through the door. Don't force it. Sometimes you just gotta ease it on in there. I kind of want an 18th resource in this deck because I have these 3 transmuters to like make them reasonable. Probably be Sapper's Wallbuster as the cut. I usually err on the side of playing slightly more resources rather than less. We have a double. We have 2 double Ruby cards at 4. I have another double Ruby card in Furious Blitzer, and I have one double Sapphire card. Huh. Feed the Flames, Hammer, Interlude. I'm going to cut this Wallbuster. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut that and just play 18 here. I'm going to go 10 and 8. And select Marzul for our champion. Any sockets? I do not. Alright, well that is our deck for the day. Like I said, some things like these are similar to coins. They're a way to play more resources and not feel too bad about it, which is great. I love being able to play high resource count decks. You know, you're going to lose way more games stumbling and dying than flooding and dying. As always, thanks for watching today. Remember that there will be gameplay videos coming up here in just a moment. And remember, if you're enjoying the matches, enjoying the videos, to like them on YouTube and share them on your social media. You can also support my content directly by subscribing on Twitch for $49 a month, or becoming a patron on Patreon for varying amounts, or by supporting my sponsor, HexPrimal.com, where they'll sell you some Hex TCG singles. And if you order from them using code Jeff5, you'll save 5% off of your order. Stay tuned for some gameplay, and thanks for watching, folks.